me, that would be awesome. Brilliant. I think, yeah, it says we're streaming live, so absolutely fantastic. If we could just get a thumbs up if you can see and hear me. That's what I'm waiting for, a thumbs up. Okay, I can see I'm going live, so that's perfect. Okay, make sure I'm live in the right group. Made only that mistake once. Okay, fantastic. So welcome everybody to this workshop. This is a really intriguing subject because there's so many marketers out there that either promote organic only or ads only. And you hear all these rumors that ads are really expensive, they're techie, and don't get your hands burnt. You've got to have reached £1 million turnover before you even go on the ads platform. It's all utter nonsense. Okay, there is some truth because we're not going to run complicated ads, funnels, bringing people to landing pages, opt-ins. That's not what I'm talking about today. So welcome everybody. Just comment before we get started. I like to know who's live. Just so comment live below if you can. If you're here live, just comment below live. Fantastic, Rich. Thank you very much. Anybody else live? There's a lot of people tagged in this workshop, so they will be watching the replay. So even if you're watching the replay, please comment below so I can see where you're watching the replay. And I do want you to stay to the end because I've got a bonus for you. Okay, it's only to the first 5 who watch to the end and comment below. So that is for, you know, just a little bit way down the line. So what I'm going to cover today is essentially ads that you can use that really set your business on fire, which makes your audience see you everywhere. Okay, when we kind of post stuff online, it can be sometimes frustrating when Facebook doesn't give us engagement, it doesn't give us leads. Now, we do have to work at the algorithm, there's no doubt about that, and that does take a little bit of time, and we can quicken that process with automation, but it can be fairly frustrating. So we can just cheat the system a little bit and put a little bit of money on the ads platform to make it all work for us. So I just want you to comment below if you have used ads in the past. Have you? Thank you, Kamlesh. Thanks, Rich. Have you used, and Jean's here as well. Have you used ads in the past? Have you just put ads if you've used them before? And maybe if they haven't worked, just put ads not worked or ads did work. So I can know where you are with your kind of, you know, your kind of mental state of mind when it comes to the ads. But it's not just ads. I'm not one of these marketers that say ads work only or organic works only. There are different sides of the coin, but they can work together. And I don't hear many coaches actually say that. So they can actually work in tandem with each other, because I hear so many coaches say, do the organic first, then scale up with ads. And that used to be my philosophy too, but I have been using some really, really clever ways, and my clients have as well. So what I'm going to show you today is going to like blow your mind. So stay with me to the end, and also you'll grab that bonus. So the first thing we're going to cover today is how our audience buys, how we as people and how our own ideal clients buy online in the marketplace. And I'm then going to come on to how to get your audience to stop the scroll and consume your content, because that's actually, at the end of the day, the whole battle. We want to have attention. We want people to consume our content. So just comment below if you struggle like to get the engagement you need. You know, just put struggle engagement if you tend to struggle with that side. Okay, I'd love to know who out there is struggling with that particular issue. So have I got any? Let's have a look. Okay, so then we're going to move on to the super simple $10 ad strategy. It's like putting your posts on steroids. So we do not have to rely on the Facebook algorithm. We do need to work at the Facebook algorithm and get our organic engagement up and our audience, you know, building on, I use Facebook, but, you know, you can do it on any platform. But it's great sometimes not to rely on the Facebook algorithm. You know, let's just fast track it a bit. Let's cheat the system, take a bit of a cut corner. So on the 4th step, we're going to show you what we need to do to make them work, because we've got to have certain things in place to make these budget ads actually work. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. So why should you care about all this? Okay, why should you care? Well, once you understand why we buy online, your coaching business will be so much easier. You probably follow these patterns and don't even know it. So I'm going to show you how we buy online, and we'll see we actually do the same ourselves, and our ideal client does as well. So I'm going to change your mindset around how we buy online. So you're going to see things a little bit differently, and it's going to help you understand why these ads really, really work. So second, I'm going to then go on to, but why should you care? So you're going to understand why people and how people buy. The great thing about this is you don't have to rely on the Facebook algorithm, which I've just said. So comment below, awesome, if you find that like amazing, you don't have to rely on the Facebook algorithm, because sometimes it can be stingy. Even I see, you know, there's top marketers out there, they're in their sort of multi-millions, and some of their posts don't get engagement. So it just depends on so many factors, okay, which I've done plenty of workshops on that, so I'm not going to go into that today. The great thing is you don't have to spend a fortune on ads, and you don't have to be techy. You don't have to be agency or anything like that. Anybody can do these. Be better known in your space. So you're going to be seen above your competition. You're going to be literally in people's news feeds all the time. So when people see us more, they trust us more. You know, we're there in front of their faces all the time, and you become way more trusted. Effectively, that is the bottom line. So I'm just going to take you through a little example. Okay, I'm going to come offline now and tell you a little bit personal story that will really set the whole philosophy around this particular strategy. So a few years ago in our local area, a cafe opened, and it was like a bar combined cafe, nice little place. I spent a lot of money doing this place up, beautifully decorated. And it was actually my son's parents, my son's friend's parents, that's better. My son's friend's parents had built, renovated this place, did it up as a cafe bar. Beautiful. So we used to go in on a regular basis to support, because we know these people. We wanted to support a local venue. But it was just so empty. There was nobody turning up. And I felt really sorry for them that they spent all this money. He'd quit his job to run it, and he wasn't a well-paid job. And nobody was turning up. Nobody was turning up. It was just heartbreaking. So I saw them over a period of time, and I helped them as well, with their marketing and a few ideas. I started seeing them taking action. They had a Facebook page. They kept posting on that. They were running sort of cheap ads. They were putting flyers people through people's doors. They continually did their Facebook posts. They had an A board outside to attract people. They put editorial in the local magazines, newly opened and why it was unique and different. They had discard counts being passed around the local villages, and they were getting ranked on local Google. So you can see there's loads of things they were doing to get the traction. And it did take some time. And at one point, they were literally on the brink of shutting themselves down, thinking, bad idea. But then suddenly something miraculous happened. People started turning up. They started turning up, not just in ones or twos, but literally within the space of like a very short period of time. That place was rammed packed. And I meant to put a photo actually in here of it being ram-packed on like every weekend. The summers, they were spilling out onto the roads. So what I'm trying to say here is that a couple of things. It's the compounding effect. So things don't happen straight away. We build momentum, and then suddenly, bam, things just give. So we have to keep that in mind with our online marketing. So if any of you come across an experience where this has happened, where nothing's happened for ages, and suddenly everything just gives, whether it's in your own life or whether, it's something you've seen happen to somebody else, literally it just gives. So I want you to keep that in mind as we go through, because that was an awesome journey, and every occasion gets ram-packed. It's doing amazingly well. This is very relevant, by the way. So I'm going to share my screen. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Okay. Get rid of that. Okay, can you see my screen, everybody? It says screen sharing, so I think we're okay. So really, what I'm going to ask you is that example about our local little cafe venue. Which marketing method actually worked? Was it the post, the Facebook post? Was it the flyers? Was it the A boards? Was it the editorial? Was it the discount cards? Was it local Google? Just comment below which you think it was. Okay, comment below. I'd love to know which ones you think it was. Okay. Well, basically, all of them work together. Okay, they all work together in the fact that if one of them was only implemented, the chances are it could still be empty. But it had a compounding effect, one built on the other, okay? Somebody saw the flyer, then they might have saw the Facebook post, then they opened the local magazine, and then word of mouth got out. Somebody went there, liked it, referrals started happening. And it's very similar with online marketing, okay, with the ads, which it'll all fall into place. So they all work together, and we can't actually identify, unless we track really carefully, we can't really identify which one was the one that really worked. So it's the same with these budget ads. We're not going to be looking at KPIs. We're not going to be looking at all the how many people stop the scroll, what the click-through rate, we haven't even got click-through rates. We're not even getting people to click through anywhere. It's just a post on steroids. But we won't know which one works, but we do know that combined together, they have a huge impact on us getting seen online everywhere. So luckily online, we don't need all these ways. We don't need all these ways I've just mentioned, flyers and email posts and local Google. We just need one platform. We do not need any other platform to get to a 10K consistent months. Only need one. And in fact, when you stay with one, you get way more traction because you're so focused. So one is good enough. One platform's good enough. But we do need to get seen on that one platform. And we do need to build an engaged audience, because if we haven't got thousands of pounds to throw at ads, one of my clients spends $5,000 a month on ads. She's a very well-established coach. She's got lots of revenue coming in. That's a different story. Most coaches are not at that. I say most coaches aren't really at that level, are they? When they can chuck $5,000 on the ads platform. So we've got to do one or two things. We build organic, but we've got to be aware that organic marketing takes a little bit of time, commitment. Okay, we can speed it up 100% massively, but we can also do that and cut a few corners with these budget-friendly ads. So we do need to build online. So this Gary Vaynerchuk, I'm not sure if you guys have heard of jab, 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 right hook. I love that expression. Just comment below, heard of it, jab, jab, if you've heard of it, because it's a really great concept. It's literally, you give content out, value, and then you can put offers out. Okay, so with these $10 a day ads, they're a great way to implement Gary Vaynerchuk's jab, 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 right hook, because we can give value out on the ads platform. There's no call to actions. That goes against a lot of people's grain. And what my coach, actually, I've run a lead agency for many years, and she taught me this little method, which I find really awesome, because it's not always about getting people's email address and shoving them links to all our offers, even though we need to do that. Sometimes we just want to give value. So these $10 ads, I think I might have said $10 a day. They're not $10 a day. These $10 ads over a very, very short period of time, could be 4 days, 7 days, depending on how big your organic audience is. These ads literally give value. So you're constantly seen in people's news feeds. And then when the time's right, you put your offer out there. So I love that expression, jab, 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 right hook. So I'm going to just give you an example of this. This happened exactly to me. So I've been following a lot of marketers for years. Russell Brunson, of course, is one of them, amongst many others. I'm very geeky. I take marketing books away on holiday with me, read them, absorb them, because it's not just my job, it's my hobby. So I remember Russell Brunson was running a challenge, and it was a 5-day challenge. Now, what was it? Build Your Funnel Challenge or something like that. And when I first got into online marketing, years ago, I kept seeing him pop up, but I didn't really take him that seriously. So I saw him once or twice, literally scrolled through, didn't take a blind bit of notice. Then he might have popped up somewhere else. And I thought, there's that guy again, but I still didn't really take any notice. And it must have been the 4th or 5th, it could have been the 6th or 7th time. I kind of thought, okay, I'll click to see what he's got to offer. So it wasn't until about the 7th time I actually even bothered to click through to his content. Then I started to absorb a little bit of his content and let it get a bit drawn in. And then I ended up investing in ClickFunnels. I'm no longer on ClickFunnels, but then I invested in ClickFunnels, and it was a little bit way down the line I invested in one of his products. So what I'm saying to you is that we expect immediate results online. We expect to go online and just get the order straight away. That will happen with a very, very small percentage of people. You're going to get some people ready to buy right now. But with these $10 a day, sorry, I keep saying a day, $10 ad strategies, it's not per day, it's over a short period of time, 4 days, 7 days. With these, we're putting them out continually so that we're going to get the same effect. People are going to keep seeing us. They may not even buy on the first. It could be 6 months later when they decide the right time is to invest in you and your programs. But we're not trying to measure KPIs. We're not trying, it's almost like a billboard in London, or an advertisement, you see the big advertisements on TV. They're just out there being visible. Their brand is visible. And they're not saying that billboard brought me in 3 million this year. They are just visible. Okay. And I'm not saying we're a big brand, but for a little bit of money, we can get that effect in our own coaching businesses, even as a solopreneur. So, liken it to just having your brand out there on a continual basis. When people are ready, they'll be jumping on. And it's a compounding effect. Okay, so does that make sense? Just comment below, does that make sense? I'd love to know if have you ever come across somebody online and you keep seeing them appear again and again, but you just don't take any notice? Can you, in your mind, think of anybody like that? And then suddenly you kind of just entered their world a little bit. You put one foot in their door, and then a week later you might, just gone a bit further, and then maybe a month later you might have kind of bought one of their low-end products, or and you nudge their way into the world. Just think, because that's how all of us buy. That's the majority of people buy this way. So this is why these $10 ads combined with our organic marketing work really, really well, because we're not sitting there waiting for the algorithm to do its job, even though it's so important. It really is so important, but we can cheat the system. Okay. Right, so I'm going to just cover step 2, and I've covered this before, so I'm not going to repeat. There's plenty of workshops in my group on this. This will not work unless your audience is engaged, likes what you've got to offer. So you have to know what they want. Okay, and one of my clients this week, we kind of defined his niche, and he struggled to know niche down, and he struggled to maybe not understand at all, but he knows his stuff, but struggled to niche down. It was just too big online. He's a health coach. You might be watching tonight, Chris Cave. If you're watching, I'm talking about you. So Chris struggled to niche down because he knows he can help everybody with everything. So once we define who we actually help, a sub niche within a niche, because the health niches, the money niches, they're also competitive. I mean, my niche is very competitive. Health niches, they're all very competitive now. But the more we define our market, the better we're going to get the traction. So we've thought of a really nice niche for him, and I'm sure he won't mind me saying we're looking maybe the dating niche, when people want to date again after a divorce. A different set of emotions go along with that. Then rather than somebody just trying to lose weight, when somebody's getting on the dating scene again, it's a different kind of mindset. So we need to cover that mindset and weight loss and basically overall feeling awesome to go out on the dating scene again. So what I'm trying to say is you've got to get your audience to stop the scroll, and when they think that's for me. So we're trying to get rid of 98% of people. We're literally focusing on the 2% that like what you do. So that's why we have to have the right audience. So does that make sense? Okay, I'm not going to go into too much detail on that, because a lot of you know about my digital photography background, and when we niched down to digital photographers back in 2002, when we cut out all the film users. But many of you have heard that already, but that business took off like a storm, because we literally just narrowed down to people who wanted to go digital back in those days. And that shows my age. Okay, so we need to get them to sit up. So we need to know the pain, the result, and we need to know what to offer them. So let me ask you a question. Are you really clear on what you offer your clients? Are you really clear on the transformation you're going to get them? Are you really clear on the framework to your program, so that you can create content from that? Because that's the biggest reason coaches actually fail, is because they're not clear on what they're offering. They know what they can do and they know how they can help, but they're not really clear on who it is and how they're going to take them very, very fine tooth comb through their transformation process. So just comment below if you've got like a, do you have issues with finding a niche problem? Just comment below niche problem if you do find that. Okay. Right, so we're going to move on now to these simple ads. Literally $10, and it's like a post on steroids. So we're not having to rely on that algorithm. So I'd like to know, out of the audience watching tonight, who does struggle with the Facebook algorithm? Who struggles with getting engagement? If you struggle with getting engagement, I'd like to know. Because it can be, Facebook, if you do the right things on Facebook, it will give you the engagement. Okay, so it just comes down to content, audience. Have you got the right audience, the right content in front of them? Is it the right time of day you posted? And quite often it can be as simple as this. Facebook prefers certain types of posts. They like Facebook Lives. They like people to do things that the tools they put, that, we get the little banners, don't we? They like you to use those. I get great engagement on my posts when I put those out. And also they like you to use lives. I get better engagement on my little banner posts. But, all these little tips and tricks of getting engagement, and there's so many more factors on that covered in other workshops. Okay, so I'm just going to take a little breather because I'm going to come on to these $10 a day strategies. So what we do in a nutshell is we build up an organic audience, and then we retarget with these very, very simple budget ads. And I'm sure retargeting ads is no big shakes to you, but I want to go through the philosophy with you that they don't have to be techie and they don't have to be expensive either. So this is a very simple ad I put out there. It's only an ad that's alive for 4 days. I haven't boosted it from my page. I put it into my business manager for various reasons, okay? Outside the scope of this workshop, but I can boost my page, but not particularly on this occasion. So these $10 a day ads, they literally are on that live for 4 days. And on most of them, I'm not even got a call to action. I think I actually published this and just published it really quickly. And I don't often put the banner send message, but on this occasion, it's on there. No big shakes, but generally there's no call to action. And I'm just boosting to my warm audience. And I'm boosting in a clever sort of way. I'm boosting because I'm running this workshop today, and it builds up momentum to it. It builds up momentum. I've got more people coming into my group to watch it. And it's another way of being seen out there. So these are really simple $10 a day ads. And just within a space of a few days, okay, I've had 3,000 impressions. Now, sometimes we struggle to get that on our organic posts, depending on Facebook's feeling generous that day, whether we've not quite ticked all the boxes. And even though I love organic marketing, just a little bit of money, we can cheat the system. So I've had 2,519 people play the video, okay? And it's quite a long video. So I've had 47, which is great because I've only spent £10 or $10 on this one. And I know that hits really good KPIs. I'm not so bothered about the KPIs, but I've had 47 people watch a quarter of the video, which is a really engaged audience. Okay, you may think 25% is not a lot, but that is actually a really good attention span on the length of this video. But I've actually had 2,500 actually just see it in front of their eyes. So more, maybe next time they're going to watch it properly, or maybe three weeks down the line, after I keep putting these out, they're going to watch them. So I've not spent a lot to actually get that. Okay, I've not spent a lot. It's money very well spent because I'm, do these every week, so they're out there every week. And this is another one from a client. You may have seen this one before, because this as well as somebody in the sober niche. She's a life coach. Now, I'm just going to show you the difference. With my particular ad, I get a lot of people watching the content, okay? But in business niches, it's harder, because I'm selling to business owners, and they have been bombarded by all sorts of offers. So they are a very, very aware audience. So I must admit, I don't get a huge amount of comments, and they're not live long enough anyway, but I don't get a huge amount of comments, but I get people consuming it. They're like secret stalkers. They're watching the content, and little do they know that, I know, and I'm tracking that I'm putting them into buckets of people who have actually watched the content. So I don't really need the comment. But what we find with life coaching niches is they just go crazy, literally crazy. I mean, this one, 374 comments, 82 shares, 344 likes. It was alive a bit longer. Okay, we did actually use this for a longer period of time, but it just like crazy results for life coaches, because there's several reasons. It's a social media site and people love relationships, having relationships. Rather than business, relationships tend to do really, really well. Any life coaching space does pretty well on the As platform if tuned in the right way. But, you know, also it's just the fact that life coaching, their audience isn't so educated. And that's not in a snobby way. That's that they're not smelling a rat. They're not thinking they're going to get stuck in some funnel somewhere, or somebody's going to try and get them on a sales call. This is a lighter topic, and we've got a less online educated audience, if that makes sense. Just comment below if that makes sense. Okay. Right, just bear with me a second. Just make sure we're still live. Just had a glitch. We are swapping in. Well, we did swap internet providers. I still think I'm okay. Yeah. Okay, fantastic. Right, so what do we actually need to make these $10 a day ads work? Well, I've already told you there, we're retargeting a warm audience. So we do need an organic audience. Okay, and we need an engaged organic audience. So just comment below if you struggle to get an organic audience engaged. Just if you're watching the replay, I still want to know whether you have any struggles with getting engagement on your content, or if you have trouble building your audience, because they are actually two different things. Building your audience is one thing, but getting engagement is another. So just comment below which one, if any, that you struggle with. Watching the replay or live, I'd love to know. Okay, so I've switched my profile, and several of my clients also have. They've switched over to the professional mode. And literally, there's more and more features coming, actually, which makes it now more worthwhile switching to the professional mode. It was only yesterday I was saying that, I didn't really think it was no big shakes, but it is really, because there's more and more features coming available for professional mode, which literally is only coming to light very, very recently. So literally I'm learning all the time as well. So what we do with our organic audience, now this in itself, if I go onto my mobile, I go into my settings, and I can see, because I've switched to professional mode, I can see how many profile visits, how many people have actually visited my profile, clicked and looked at my profile in the last 28 days. Okay, so we've got profile 3,595. So that's 3,509 people, 595 people have actually visited my profile. So Facebook is actually providing me with an audience of people who are interested in what I do, or they're checking out what I do. So it's all my posts have reached 4,714 people. So that's pretty good. I'm pretty pleased with that. It's almost like Facebook's giving us leads. So when you switch to professional mode, you can see the stats. But there's a reason I'm saying this, because if we want to run these $10 a day ads and shortcut the system, we have to have an audience. So if yours is sitting at 0 here and you've had no people visit your profile, you're going to struggle. We need to build it up, but it's fine. It's because it's no big shakes, because we can actually build it really quickly. So if you sat there thinking, God, I've got no profile built up, I don't know who my audience is, or I've not built my audience on my profile, that's absolutely fine, because we all start from somewhere. We all start from somewhere, and we can use automation to really, really quicken the whole thing up for you. So it's no big deal. In fact, sometimes people starting with a clean slate is better, because we haven't dirtied our waters. We can really fine tune who your audience is and bring the right people in. So what we need to do is build that organic audience, but you have to be aware, before we move on, that we can't retarget these people just because they're friends of ours or they're members of our group. Okay, because I'm going to preempt the questions. Can you really retarget friends or group members? The answer is no, you can't, unfortunately. It'd be lovely if you could. That would be amazing. But we have to use clever tactics. Okay, we have to be able to track them, that they're watching our content. It's all very simple. but we have to then bring the audience in and then take them off to bits of content where we can track them. So we need them interested in what we do. So it's just really important we get the foundations right. So the art is to build an organic audience fast, full of the right people, then get them in front of our content, okay? And that's without having to rely on the algorithm. So we get them in front of our content without the algorithm, without us having to rely solely on the algorithm. So it's really awesome because groups and friends, you could literally use groups and friends, as I say, cannot be retargeted just on their own. We can't just there's nothing in the ads platform to say, please retarget my group members, please retarget my Facebook friends. That would be so incredibly if we could, but we just can't. So we have to have like a clever way of tracking them so we can then send them these ads, these budget ads. So we want them to consume our content. I'll just stop share for now. We want them to consume our content. We want them to attend our events or the replays. And there's really clever ways of doing that because a lot of people don't attend the lives, but literally, I mean, I've sent so many messages out today saying, please tag me in the replay. So there's going to be a lot of engagement on this workshop and it carries on, not just during the event, but we want them to attend our lives, we want them to watch our videos, and we want to get them on the email list because once they consume all our content, off Facebook, within Facebook, they're on our email list, we can start to retarget them. So essentially, what I want you to do is ask any questions because there's quite a lot to take in. It's quite a lot to take in. So if there's any questions at all, please post them below and I will come in after this workshop and answer them. Okay. So what I would like to do is just a quick recap. Okay, so the first thing that we've covered is the fact that we need to know who we're talking to. We need to know what our offer is because it's surprising how many coaches out there don't really know because they just know they can help everybody. So we need to really, really nail that. And the second thing is we need to build an audience. We need to build an audience organically, okay, and build a group and our Facebook audience on our personal profiles. Personal profiles is where it's at now. You know, I'm not talking about pages. Pages are when we run, pages are great because we're going to run them the $10 ads from there. But we need to build the organic side, which is your profile and your group. We need to create awesome content that resonates with your audience. Okay, number 3, the content resonates with their audience. And when they consume the content, we have a way of tracking them. Okay, we bring them, we track them. And then we want to do that fast. So if you're starting out from scratch, there's no problem at all. We all start there and it actually only takes a short while to build the audience and start these ads running. But you don't have to do it at the start. We don't actually want you to start these ads at the start. It's only when you built up some momentum because the ads won't run anyway until you built up some momentum. So we want to build the audience and we want to do it fast. Okay. And a lot of people, just tell me below if you struggle to build your audience. If you're watching the replay as well, just tell me below if you struggle to fill the seats on your profile, fill the bucket as well on your personal profile. Just tell me below if you struggle, or some of you may be flying at it and you're kind of adding 50 friends a day and getting huge acceptance rates, but would love to know where you are with that. So then we want to basically get them consuming our organic content, because this is the cheapest way to get clients, the cheapest and the most effective and the quickest. Because if we're just going to do organic solely, it kind of takes longer. So we speed it up with budget ads. Okay. And I've shown you my ads and I've shown you my clients' ads, and there's other clients that I use the same strategy with. So we want to build up the organic audience, get the engagement, and then to build up the organic audience, using automation really helps because I don't know about you, but I was spending 5 hours a day on social media. Tell me how many hours you spend on social media every day, building your audience, trying to get people engaged, trying to build your audience on your profile, add friends, message friends, comment and like on friends' posts, which all helps the algorithm. Just comment below how many hours. I'd love to know. Well, I was spending 5 hours a day and I was exhausted. I just literally was on my knees. I now, to build my audience, I spend 20 minutes a day. Okay, it's 20 minutes, and that's all I do. I've got a VA doing other things, but she doesn't do my building the audience with my automation, because it takes me 20 minutes. And you know, it's good. It helps you stay consistent, because I remember when I was doing 5 hours a day social media, I sometimes slipped because, oh gosh, this is really hard. You know, I'm just going to go out. I'm just going to go and have a coffee or go shopping. So I'd slip for a couple of days, but then I'd come back to it. So it just kept kind of, you know, going through a roller coaster of dropping off the cliff and coming back again. But when you use automation, you can keep it consistent. So this is how you want your group growth to look. Okay, it's not a perfect line. We're not in a perfect world, but this is since December the 30th last year. When I didn't use automation, it was literally up, down, and it just wasn't consistent. We want a consistent growth. Okay. I could see a dip because I was poorly around then. So, you know, and my VA was off, so she couldn't do it. So it's funny, actually, I can just see January the 15th. But if you just can't be consistent with your organic growth, you are going to struggle to build an audience. But there's no excuses, because we can use clever tools to actually do the work for us and take the heavy lifting off us. Because I don't know about you, but I used to hate doing organic marketing. I used to hate adding friends and hate building and doing all this stuff that we have to do, like and comment and message people. And I hated it. I literally dreaded every day waking up. I don't know about you, but now it's just such an easy job. And I don't need a VA to do that. My VA does other things, but not that. So we want it to look like that. Okay, we need to stay consistent. And if you do, you can then very quickly, I mean, this is only, let's have a look. That's January the 1st. Okay. So you can see how quickly you can grow, really quickly. So it doesn't have to be hard, but you just need to know the right tool to use. So once you build that organically, you then need to know what content to put out there. Once you start building, you've got that bit right. The content then comes. You think, okay, what does my audience want? So once you know what your audience wants, you start getting an engaged audience. And I'm not saying every post is going to go through the roof. That's not the real world. I don't see it with anybody, not even like people in the billion mark. It doesn't happen. But billion revenue or like multi 7 figures. But content, this did so well in my Facebook feed that I pinned it to the top because it just seemed to tick all the right boxes. So then we have to know what content works. So once we've got the audience building with automation, and then we know what content to put out there, and we've got a content plan going forward for months and months. So we're not having to think every day, what shall I post? We need to know, it needs to be literally, we're running a business, so it's a system. So we're going to know 3 months, 6 months in advance what posts we're going to put out there, what content, and there's a very clever strategy around that. So once we know we can build consistently, we know what content, all we need to do then is build a system so we can track people who watch our content. Okay, we're going to track them so that when we track them, they're literally pixeled. Okay, we can then run these $10 a day strategies, and it won't be long before you can do that. And you'll start seeing your group get bigger, very much quicker. You'll start to get more engagement. You'll start to get more people in Messenger reach out because you're going to get seen again and again and again. And this is why I wanted to say, like the Russell Brunson example, it took me like ages to sort of even buy anything off Russell. Me ages, because I've got a lot of other coaches and I'm always reading books. Some people might buy the second time they see one of your, your ads or your posts. But which bit worked, which post worked, which ad worked, it just adds fuel to the fire. So which ad really worked? I can't say I bought Russell Brunson's product because I saw that particular ad. It was all the combination of posts and ads I saw coming up to that. So we have to understand it's a compounding effect as well. So you need, build the organic system quickly. You need to put the right content out there. And you need a system to track them so that you can then put the $10 ads strategy into place. And the great thing is they're not techie and you don't actually have to measure any KPIs. We're not in there, like with my lead agency is a different story when we run more expensive ads. But when we're looking at these really cheap, friendly ads that, in fact, some of my clients don't use anything but that because it gives them all the clients they need. They're getting all the authority they need in their space. So yeah, what we are looking for though is a good return on investment. Okay, so comment below if you're looking for a good return on your investment. Would you be like, at the moment, if you're using ads, are you getting a return on your investment? Because a lot of people get burnt on the ads platform. And you can't really get burnt on these because if you run, say, 4 of these a month, that's $40 on the ads platform, which, you know, is really, really cost effective. And you can get away with $40 a month on the ads platform running these ads, but just be aware we need to build that audience and get that rolling first. So they work very much in harmony, a bit like, I don't know, roast potatoes and Yorkshire puddings, like they work so well together. Okay, so any questions? Have I bombarded you? Has this been valuable? Just comment value below if you had a bit of a light bulb moment and thought, okay, well, I have to define who I'm working with. I have to make sure I know what I'm offering. I have to build an audience, engaged, make sure I do it fast. Okay. And then I can start running these ads. And then I can start shortcutting a lot of this stuff. And I can go off and have more family time rather than relentlessly posting all the time. Okay, so I hope that has been incredible value. What I do want to say today, though, is all this stuff is taught in my premium program. I give you everything. And my beta's running now, that's closed. We've got my 7 in there. And basically, I'm not taking any more on the beta because it's a beta because I'm including all the organic automation software and I'm including everything, the content, the funnels, the calendars. So you could come off all the softwares. You don't need Calendly, ClickFunnels. You don't need an email provider. All the landing pages are created for you, all the banners, all the content. You get the automation software. You get to log into your own agency account. But that beta is now closed, okay? But I am taking people on my premium, but I'm not including the organic software, okay? So the automation, I will tell you where you can get that. But it's still an awesome value because the software and tools are still cost more than the program itself. So if that's of interest, let me know. Just put premium and I will send you a link to the premium and you'll see what's included because it teaches you this whole system of how to define your audience, how to create your offers, then how to build your organic fast with automation, then how to actually track them, and then how to not just track them, but then retarget with these ads. So we cover the whole ecosphere of all this stuff. Okay, and we are like basically all about getting clients and getting you to 10K consistent months. But this is the bonus, guys. Okay, so if you want that, just comment premium. I will reach out. You can have a look, see if it's right for you on the premium program, but it's going to save you so much time of trying to do everything organically. Okay, so comment premium and I'll reach out and send you that link. But this is the bonus for those of you who stay to the end. I am doing an audit. I've opened up 5 slots because it is about organic growth first. And if we build the group in the right way, there are some really clever stuff we can do that allow us to build the group faster with the right people, get the engagement, get the leads, and also put these little tracking things in place, okay, when we're ready. So if you want one of those spaces, an audit of your Facebook group, just please comment below, audit, and I'm only taking the first 5 because it's my time and I'm very busy and I've got my beta premium going on at the minute. So a lot of my time spent with them. But if you want an audit, please just reach out. First 5 only. I will be just, it will be next week now because it's Friday tomorrow, but I will be auditing those for you. And I can guarantee I'm going to find some golden nuggets for you in amongst there. And it's going to be worth your time to spend 15 minutes going through your group and seeing where you are with it. Have you got the right things in place? Have you got those aspects in place to monetize your Facebook group? So guys, put audit below and I'll reach out to the first 5. Okay, so just comment below value as well if you find this valuable. I'd love to know, because I do like to give value on these workshops. I try not to overwhelm people with all the detail, because it would be dangerous to do that. I'd be there for 8 hours. If I could, I'd show you all in 8 hours, but yeah, it doesn't work like that. All right, well, thank you so much for listening, and I hope you find incredible value. We are back in a couple of weeks' time with another workshop, so that'll be going live next week, and you'll be able to check that one out. All right, guys, have an awesome day.